teach you English. We're English teachers here in Comoros, and we're so glad that you want to learn English with us.
Yes, but learning a language isn't easy. But don't worry, little by little, you will improve. Like you say, trone trone o jaya nyungu.
That's right. And so every week, or every episode, we're going to teach you a story, and then we'd like you to go and tell somebody else that story.
That's right. So this week we have a new episode, a new story for us. This is about a magic fish.
A magic fish? Wow, that sounds like a strange story.
Well, first we need to have Amy teach us some new vocabulary.
Great, so there's some words that you need to know in order to understand this story. The first thing you need to know is a fisherman. Do you know what a fisherman is? A fisherman goes out into the ocean to catch fish. A fisherman. Now, a fisherman, as I said, catches fish. But in the story, we use that verb to catch in the past tense. Do you know what to catch is in the past tense? It's caught. So we can say the fisherman caught a fish. Also in this story, there are two houses that are mentioned. The first house is a hut. Now, a hut is a house that poor people would live in. And it's not a beautiful, big building, but a small, maybe old building that's not beautiful at all, a hut. The opposite, though, is a castle. Who lives in a castle? Well, a king and a queen live in a castle. It's big, and it's those people who live in it have a lot of money, a castle. And the final word you need to know is the verb to wish, or to make a wish. We might say, I wish I had an ice cream. When it's really hot, we might say, I wish there was air conditioning. It's something that we would like to happen. So in this story, there's somebody who wishes or who makes some wishes. And that's a vocabulary that you need to know. Fisherman, caught a fish, hut, castle, and to wish. Great, now we're ready to hear the story.
Well, thank you, Amy. Now let's listen carefully as I tell you the story of the magic fish. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman who lived in an old hut by the ocean. Every day he would go out to try to catch a fish. And one day when he was out fishing, he didn't catch anything until he caught something, and he pulled it out of the water, and it was a magic fish. The fish said, "I'm a magic fish, put me back in." And the fisherman said, "Well, since you're a magic fish, I'll put you back in the water." Well, that night, the fisherman's wife asked him, "Why didn't you catch any fish?" And the fisherman said, "Well, I did catch a fish, but it was a magic fish, so I put it back." And the fisherman's wife said, "Why didn't you ask him for a wish? Go back and ask the magic fish for a beautiful house." Even though the fisherman didn't want to, he went back to find the magic fish. And when he called the magic fish to come, it came and it asked, "What do you want?" And the fisherman said, "My wife wants to live in a beautiful house." The fish said, "You have your wish, go home." Well, the fisherman's wife was happy and content in her beautiful house for about a week. And then she wanted more. So she told her husband to go find the magic fish again. And this time, she said, ask for a castle. Even though the fisherman didn't want to, he went back to find the magic fish. And the magic fish said, "What does your wife want now?" And he said, "She wants to live in a castle." And the fish said, "You have your wish, go home." Well, the wife was pretty happy and content in her beautiful castle for about 2 weeks. And then she wanted more. So she told her husband to go and ask the magic fish to make her the queen of the whole country. Even though the fisherman didn't want to go, he went back to find the magic fish. And when he called to the magic fish came and he said, "What does your wife want now?" And the fisherman said, "She wants to be queen of the country." The fish said, "She has her wish, go home." Well, the fisherman's wife was now dressed in gold from head to foot, and she was beautiful and so happy as the queen of the country for about 3 weeks. And then she wanted more. So she told her husband to go find the magic fish and tell him that she wanted to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars. And even though the fisherman didn't want to, he went back to find the magic fish. And when he called the magic fish came and he said, "What does your wife want now?" And the fisherman said, "She wants to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars." The magic fish said, "No, no, no, that's too much. She's asking too much. She cannot be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars. Now you must go back and live in your old hut." And so the fisherman left and went home to his old hut.
Great, well let me tell you the story of the magic fish. Once upon a time there was a poor fisherman who lived in an old hut by the sea. And one day he went out to catch fish and he caught a big fish, and it was a magic fish. And when he went to take it out of the water, the magic fish said, "Put me back in the water, put me back in the water." And because it was a magic fish, the fisherman put the fish back into the water. Now that evening when he went home, the fisherman's wife asked, "Why don't you have any fish?" And the fisherman explained that he had caught a big fish, but it was a magic fish, and so he had put him back into the water. The fisherman's wife said, "Why did you do that? You should have asked him for a wish. Go back and ask him for a beautiful home." And even though the fisherman didn't want to do it, he went back to the sea and he called, "Magic fish, magic fish." And the magic fish says, "What do you want?" And the fisherman said, my wife wants a beautiful home." And the magic fish said, "Your wife has her wish. Go home." And so the fisherman went home, and him and his wife lived in this beautiful home. And the wife, she was happy. She was very content in her new home for 1 week. And then she said to her husband, "Now I want to live in a castle." And so, even though he didn't want to, the fisherman went back to the magic fish. He called, "Magic fish, magic fish." "What does your wife want now?" asked the magic fish. "She wants to live in a castle," said the fisherman. "Go home, she has her wish," said the magic fish. And the fisherman went home, and him and his wife lived in a castle. And the fisherman's wife, she was so happy, she was so content for 2 weeks. And then she decided she wanted more. She wanted to be queen of the country. And so even though the fisherman didn't want to, he went back to ask the magic fish. "Magic fish," he called. And the magic fish says, "What do you want now?" The fisherman explained, "My wife wants to be queen of the country." And so the magic fish says, "Go home, your wife has her wish." And the wife, she was so happy. She was dressed in gold from head to foot, and she was queen of the whole country. She was content to be queen for 3 weeks, and then she decided she wanted more. She said, "I want to be queen of the sun, the moon, and the stars." And so even though the fisherman didn't want to, he went back to the magic fish. Magic fish," he called. And the magic fish asked, "What does she want now?" "She wants to be queen of the sun, the moon, and the stars," said the fisherman. "No," said the magic fish, "she wants too much." And so the fisherman went home, and he found his wife once again in the old hut by the sea. And that's the end of the story. What a funny story. I hope you understood it. I'm going to ask Abby some questions just to help us go through the story step by step. Abby, who was in the story?
Well, there was the fisherman and his wife and the magic fish.
And how did the fisherman find the magic fish?
He caught the fish while he was fishing.
And the fisherman's wife, she made some wishes. What was her first wish?
Her first wish was to have a beautiful house.
And her second wish?
Her second wish was to have a castle.
And what was her third wish?
Her third wish was to be queen of the country.
And how long was she content with being queen of the country?
She was only content for 3 weeks to be queen.
And then she made one final wish, I think. What was that?
She wanted to be queen of the sun and the moon and the stars.
And did the fish make her queen of the sun, the moon, and the stars?
No, he refused.
Yeah, he didn't give her that final wish. I wonder, what do you think the fisherman's wife felt at the end?
Well, maybe she was angry with the fish. Or maybe she regretted being so greedy and wanting so much.
Yeah, she just kept wanting more and more, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Abby.
Yeah.
Let's go and ask some GSV members what they think about this story.
My favorite part of the magic fish story is at the end, when the man returns to his little hut and the castle is gone and the riches are gone and the man is just living his simple life again the way he liked it.
I really like the story of the magic fish. It just seems like us humans are so easily greedy. We just want more and more and more. But when we're content, it's really good. I mean, it just, if the lady in the story could have been content, how much better it would have been. Yeah. But I feel sorry for the husband. He has to keep going and asking the magic fish for more and more favors. But greediness is not good.
Well, thanks, GSV members. Now it's your turn. Go find someone to tell this story to.
And don't forget, don't be like the fisherman's wife, who was so greedy and always wanting more. Remember to be thankful for all the good things that God has given you. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, thank you again for watching. We hope to see you at the GSV Library located at Nyumba Rijali, where you can find more books that you can read on your own. One of my favorite stories is Stella Luna. It's all about a fruit bat. And we have many more stories that you can come and read at the GSV Library. See you there!